Hey guys. So, interesting developments today. I got a comment, one of the videos, regular comment, um, basically saying no matter what idea you do, there's always going to be competitors, and that pivoting the app realistically, this was not said in the comments, this is my own thing, but pivoting the app realistically is like an excuse to take the easy way out because it seems easier. Um, So I'm not gonna change it. Maybe later I'll integrate both of them, but I'm going to make Tote and I'm gonna stick to it and I'm gonna finish it how it is. It's so close to being done. I just have to figure out a couple of problems, then we're good. With that in mind, I started working away at the problem today. And the main issue that we're facing here is accuracy of price data. So when you put in a grocery list item, the data you get back for each of the stores is gonna be wrong. And I did a lot of research today looking into scraping data API, using web search, using AI to do it. And I came back and it was really rough looking. It looked pretty hopeless. And then naturally on the toilet, I had the best idea ever. So what if I just use AI to predict the prices and then compare it to what the actual prices are, see how close AI is, and train my own AI to predict the prices. So I'm not actually scraping price data from anywhere. I'm actually predicting it and then seeing how close it is. And I spent probably 3 hours screwing with this today, and I'm happy to say that it's somewhat successful so far. I have to do a lot more testing, but I got it so that without searching the internet and for 7/100ths of a cent per item per store, so 21.2 of a cent per search query if you do 3 stores, I can get it within 0.4% accuracy of the real price in bulk. And the way that I did this is I essentially tried a bunch of different AI models and found the best combination. So the best combination for the best price is GPT-4o Mini and Claude Haiku 3.5. You combine both of these, they offset each other's biases a little bit. And the way that I did it is if you ask ChatGPT right now, hey, what is the price of a gallon of milk at Sam's Club? It's gonna give you a random number, right? But that number came from somewhere, and AI is trained using all of the internet. And so if AI has been trained using all the internet, probably illegal data, I can use that to my advantage. So what I started doing to test this is I'm thinking, okay, statistics, sample size. If I have enough data, it will offset all of the outliers, and I can use like outlier, I can like remove outliers from the data. So this is what I did, is I took GPT-4o Mini, and I literally just prompted it, what is the price of item at store location? And I just sent it off and said, just give me a price. And it gave me the price. Now, I did that 10 times. So I sent it to 10 different GPT-4o Minis, and they all came back with different prices because there's variability. And what I did is I removed the outliers from those prices and then selected the median price or the middle price out of all of the variety that it gave me. And then I did the same thing for Claude. I sent 10 requests, one to each different Claude, got all of the responses, removed the outliers and took the median of that. And then I averaged the median of that with the median from GPT. And so what this did is GPT's bias, so maybe it is known to overestimate prices or underestimate prices, is offset by Claude's bias because they're completely different companies who have trained their data completely differently. And prompting each of them 10 times gives you, I want to say, it will remove any sort of huge skews in the data. But that was kind of my logic with it. And so I ran with it. I initially tried 5 different AI models that each got 5 different messages. Turned out to be really expensive, so I started cutting the costs, looking at which ones were the most accurate compared to real price data, and I settled with this one. and I put in 9 random items from Sam's, Walmart, and Publix just to start with. Clementine oranges, gallon of milk, honey, bread flour, low-fat milk, Reese's chocolate cups, peanut butter chocolate cups, frosted flakes, strawberries, eggs, and then I ran that through, and I have a little thing here, I don't know if you can see it, but it shows you a lot of data. And so it compares the estimated price to the actual price. And so overall, I ran it with the 9 of them, and it turned out to be an error of 4.47%. So if you took all of the differences and averaged them out, it was only 4% off. But this is including things like 30% off for a $4 thing of milk is like less than $1. But it's keeping that with 10% off of something that's $100 is $10. Well, that $10 is a lot more than that $1 that we missed, but the percentage on here was bigger, so it skews the data. So what I did is instead I added up the whole column of what it was estimated to cost, and then the whole column of the actual costs, and then looked at the difference. And with the 9 items, I ran them through twice, which I'll get through in a second, but basically I made it so that the program corrects the bias. So if ChatGPT is known to overestimate produce products, it negates it by dividing it by whatever multiple sets it to the average. So if it's known to overestimate by 10%, it'll divide it or multiply it by 0.909, which is the equivalent of reducing that 10% back to the baseline, if that makes any sense to anybody. And so I ran it through twice, and of course the data got way better on the second go around. But the total, if you added up everything, was like real money, like actual prices from online, $104.56. The AI estimated total was $104.13. It was 43 cents off. And it was within 0.4%. And this was from 9 random, seemingly unrelated items from 3 different stores at random, which I think is incredible because the store-to-store variation is about 20 to 25% pricing between premium stores and budget stores. So like Aldi versus Whole Foods, the price difference is like 60%. But on average, if you go to just like a random store, it's 20 to 25%. So if I'm off plus or minus 5%, that's okay because then I'm still saving people that other 15%. Well, this program, assuming that it continues to function like this, which I don't think it will on bulk, but I can have hope, it was only 0.4% off, 0.4%. The difference was 41 cents and it was $104. It was that close. And I'm not using any price scraping data here. I'm literally just using AI and statistics to just ask AI 20 different times, hey, what is the price? And then I take the median and get rid of any outliers, which I don't even know why I'm getting rid of outliers if I'm taking a median. That only really matters if there's a mean, but whatever. And it's getting like seriously accurate data. So this presents a huge opportunity, and the reason behind this is because of the cost. So in order to do the web search earlier, it was 1 cent per query, so 1 cent per store. So to search one item at 3 stores is 3 cents. Well, I just cut it down to 0.2 cents for all the stores. So simple math tells me that it's 15 times cheaper now, and it's more accurate than before. So I just cut my cost by 15% and increase my accuracy. I don't know, I didn't have the accuracy before, but it's way more accurate basically. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna get together a list of the top 15 stores, which I already have in the country. And I'm going to try to get my hands on legit current price data at all 15 of those for 20 different staple items, so like commonly bought items, and then run it through this thing to see what the results look like and how far off it is to make sure that this is actually a good idea to go with. And then I'm gonna start testing it to see if the prices are somewhat close when I actually go grocery shopping in my own time. So next week maybe. And if it functions somewhat well, I want the margin to be within plus or minus 5%. So If it says that it's going to be $100 and it's $105 or $95, gold. That's perfectly fine with me. If it says it's going to be $100 and it's like 112, that's a little bit too high for me. You're kind of losing the purpose there. But according to like real data, the price variation is going to be, if it's 100, it can be up to 120 or down to $80 depending on which store you go to. And so if the variation is 20% and I'm only varying by 5%, that other 15% that I'm helping people avoid is money that will be saved. And 15% of your monthly budget is like over $100 for some people. Like for me, 15% of my monthly budget would be like $80. So I think that it would be super valuable. It'll be super cool. Very excited about this. I have to do a lot more testing because admittedly 9 items that are primarily from Sam's Club, Walmart, and Publix probably are not the best group of data to be testing this with. But I'm going to start doing the tedious task of getting together real data for all of the major stores that I want to run this thing for and see how it performs with each store. And then, like I said earlier, it can change the weight of each item depending on if the AI typically overestimates or underestimates it. And basically the idea behind this is the more items, more products that I have over time, the more accurate this thing will get because it'll be able to hone and gauge. So this solves the accuracy problem, at least hopefully. I have to do more testing on it. And it makes it much more affordable, which means that I can charge far less for the app. So instead of doing the $9.99 I was going to do earlier, each user per month, it'll cost about 14 cents, assuming that they buy around 100 products a month, or like 200, 1 or 200, I don't know. I know that's a big difference, but so that's super exciting, assuming it works. But then that solves the pricing problem, which means I'm going to charge like $2.99, which means I'm netting about $2 a month per person, which is great. I want to run App Store ads for this thing once I get it out, and I figured out what I'm going to do for beta testing, because the problem with beta testing is if we're using other stores from other parts of the country, I don't have those stores near me, so I can't verify it. So I'm going to have family who lives various places throughout the United States. I got some people in California, Texas, up in the northeast, basically in all parts of the US except for like the middle. And I'm going to have them all tested at their grocery stores nearby, see how accurate the data is. And if that works, then that's really all I can do for beta testing, because I'm not going to be able to expense myself for hundreds of people to test this thing, because it's going to be for free and that's going to take the hit. And then I'm going to release it, and I'm going to do a launch on Product Hunt to hopefully get my first few users and then start running ads. So that's my like roadmap right now, at least my plan. And if this price thing does actually solve the problem, the next thing that I have to fix, and the last, I think, hopefully, major problem that I have to overcome is units. So in the database, I'm going to have to store things in their units, because different stores sell things in different units. So for example, at Trader Joe's, they sell bananas by the unit. So each banana is 23 cents or 19 cents if it's not organic. Versus at like Walmart and other places, it's by the pound. And so if I ask AI, hey, how much are bananas at Walmart, it's going to return a completely different number because it's not specifying in what units. And so I need a unit standardization system. And the way that I'm going to go about doing this is automatically convert them to per unit. And so I'm going to have to create some sort of standards in the database. So like, what is the average weight of a banana? And then have a conversion for basically, if you input the banana in pounds, it will automatically calculate what's the average weight of a banana. Okay, this is how much it is per banana, and then that's what it will use. That's going to be complex. I have no doubt that I'll figure it out. Somebody has solved some more complicated problem before. I'm sure I can do that. But once that's done, from start to finish, users will be able to go into the app. They can import a grocery list from wherever. They can write it themselves. They can dictate it, anything. And then it will search. And by searching, it will actually just prompt AI, super cheap, and it will find the cheapest of the 3 stores available. And the nice part about this is, while accuracy could be a problem for some stores, it's never going to return nothing. It will always return something. So whenever a user puts in data, it will 100% return a price. which makes the UI a lot easier to design because I don't have to deal with empty states or errors or anything like that. And then also over time, as users manually put in the prices, this is going to get a lot more accurate, because the way that I'm going to try and do it is make it so that when users put it in, it overrides it, but it also has a weight. So AI will still be asked this, and it will give it a price, and then it will also use, kind of how I said, it will take the 20 different AI's answers and find the median for them. We'll also add the user's answer into this, because prices do change over time. And so if a user reports that it's $3 for a thing of strawberries 6 months ago, that's probably not the case now, but at least we have a ballpark range, and then AI can go off of that. But really, from start to finish, I see a path forward, so I'm gonna beeline for it. And with regards to the other app that I was talking about, I'm still going to do that. Once I have the infrastructure in place for this one, I find it very easy to just implement the same thing into that app. So the reason why I think this is actually potentially a better idea is because Tote is a grocery list app through and through for anyone that wants a grocery list. And I've already decided that I'm going to add a free tier for people who do not want to pay. It just doesn't show you the pricing. So you can just use it to write down your grocery list if you want to, and it's not going to charge you. But if you want to view the pricing and all the analytics and the savings, you're gonna have to pay $2.99 a month for that. I think I'm gonna do $19.99 a year or $50 lifetime. And then hopefully if you do $50 lifetime, you make that back in the first month. But then work with that, and then I get more users. But if I were to just do the meal prepping app that I was talking about, that you find recipes and then you add these recipes to your grocery list, and then it finds the cheapest location and go, I am limiting my user base specifically to people who want Whole Foods recipes and are willing to pay $9.99 a month to do so, which significantly reduces the amount of people, because everybody in the United States goes to the grocery store. You need groceries, but not everybody in the United States is eating Whole Foods. And so my audience is way larger for just the broad grocery list app, which means I can charge a lot less, but I'll reach a lot more people. Versus with the Whole Foods recipe planner app, it's a great idea and I'm 100% still going to do it, but it's such a niche group of people that it's something that would be better to charge a higher price for with fewer people. And so since I own the property of Tote and I have the algorithm and the AI system that allows me to predict the grocery prices, I can just use that in the other app because it's mine. And so I'll have Tote, which is a cheaper app for all grocery shoppers that has a free option. And then I'll have the meal planning app specifically for people like me who want these recipes, because I want to do this anyway. Like, I'm going to use it regardless of whether it's in the App Store or not. So I might as well put it in the App Store. And it's still going to have that price find feature in the grocery tab, but it's also going to have the recipes and the calorie tracking, the weight tracking, and the streaks and all of that stuff over time. And for that reason, since it's such a smaller audience, I'm going to charge a higher amount, like $9.99, $11.99, $12.99, whatever. And so that's my game plan right now, is push Tote, stick to one thing, get it done, don't give up, just get it in the App Store, finish a project, finish something that I started. I will have learned a lot. I will then have the infrastructure. Maybe Tote will blow up and I'll forget about the whole other project in the first place. But if I want to, I can always do both. I don't have to cancel one to do the other. I can literally just do both. So that's the update for today. Very technical, very long. So thank you to anybody who decided to sit through this. I'm not sure that this provides any value to those of you unless you are also developing an app, because it's very technical stuff. But yeah, that's what we're doing, moving forward with that, messing with the UI, and I would like to get this tested the next week so I can put it in the app, because I would love to get this thing in the App Store as soon as possible. Once this feature is done, then it's really just making the UI look better and polishing it, make sure the security is good, and then submitting it to the App Store, because I don't know of anything else that I need to do here. The UI is great, everything else works. So I say that like final last words. I'm sure it's not gonna be even close to that easy, but we'll find out. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow though. Peace.